Hello, everybody. I'm still finishing up. I just realized that I didn't put some. Oh, there's only one off. Yay, me. I didn't put everything where I wanted it to be. How are you today? Still got a couple of minutes to can wait for people. That's fine. Highlights. My light. There we go. That's better. Maybe you can see me now. I'm not sure. Well, how is everybody today? I'm good. I don't have to go outside, so that's good. I probably should go outside. I got compost to put out. Um, that might not happen today. May not even happen tomorrow. I don't know. Oh, I hope everybody's well. It's kind of snowy here. Just a little tiny bit, just enough to mess the roads up, which is never fun. Um, what else I got? I don't know. Nothing. Nothing on the personal list. Change my mic. That up a little bit more. All right, it's 12:01 people. Where are y'all? So today I have something very important to discuss with you. Um, it is called the Rebecca Park Act. There is a link in the bio. Please go sign the petition for this. This is a uh, congressional act for Michigan that will enhance penalties um, for adult children of child abusers. If you were taken away from your parent as a child, it would give enhanced protections when the parent is not acting correctly. Um, will do enhanced penalties when a terminated parent harasses, stalks, or commits fraud against the survivor. Um, an automatic eligibility for protection orders for survivors in those situations. It will require verification from agencies like utilities, BMV banks, etc. when a terminated parent tries to act on a survivor's behalf. And recognition of these cases as high risk solution situations for law enforcement. I know someone who is dealing with this, and it is very important. Um, but you might want to know what happened to Rebecca Park. Rebecca Park was murdered by her parents um, in a very tragic, very gory detail. There, the charges are one count of first degree murder, and potential life sentence offense, one count of felony murder, potential life sentence offense. And I don't know why these are one count because they really should be two because she was pregnant when her parents got a hold of her. One count of torture, a potential life sentence, a count of conspiracy to commit torture, one count of assault on a pregnant individual causing miscarriage slash stillbirth, one count of conspiracy to commit assault on a pregnant individual causing miscarriage stillbirth, one count of unlawful imprisonment, which is only a 15-year offense, and one count of removal of a dead body, which is a 1-year misdemeanor. There is a link to a Up North Live article. It has all of the court documents and everything in it if you want to check that out also. But please, please, please sign the petition if you live in Michigan. Um, these adult kids Adult children of abusers do need extra protections from their abuser. Um, they're stalked, they are mistreated over and over again, um, and there is no extra protections for them from this person who has influenced their lives in terrible ways. So if you would do that, I would really appreciate it. I know the owner of the petition, and she would really appreciate it too. I have been in contact with her. Um, what I read that the petition will do is a direct quote from her. So I don't want to name names because it's not my place, but please go and check that out. And I should not have done that because I wanted to read that. Mm, Here we go. I wanted to read that later. I always say my things I want to read later. All right, I guess I don't have any reality roundup today because I didn't watch anything because nothing's been on since yesterday's Sister Wives, and I did all of them yesterday. So if you want to check out reality roundup from last week and the beginning of this week, you can do that on yesterday's stream. Yeah, I can't think of anything else before we do our Reddit reads. So it's winter. It's winter. I'm coughing for no reason. It's just how it goes. So our first read is from Am I the Jerk? And it's entitled AITJ for not wanting to take care of my sick mother-in-law when my husband works nights. Maybe. My husband, 34 male, and I, 31 female, have been married for 5 years. His mom, 67 female, recently had hip surgery and needs someone around while she recovers. He works shift, so he suggested she stay with us for a few weeks so I could help her during the day. The thing is, I work from home. I'm in meetings constantly, and my job is demanding. Okay. If it's going to impact your work, then yeah, you should not be taking care of somebody else during your work hours. I told him I don't mind visiting her on weekends or bringing her food, but I can't be her nurse. He got frustrated and said, "She's family. It's just temporary." But temporary was a way of becoming months in his family. His mom already made comments about how women should take care of family, and when I said no, he accused me of being cold-hearted. Now his siblings thinks I'm leaving her to suffer. Why aren't they helping her? Are they not family? And why is my light flickering? Because that's annoying me. Now his sibling thinks I'm leaving her to suffer, even though none of them offered to take her in. AITJ for refusing to be the caretaker. First of all, some people are just not cut out for caretaking at all. And maybe she is, maybe she isn't. I don't know. But some people are just not cut out for it. And some people are really, really, really good at it. It's a personality thing, and um, you can't predict that. You can't change it. It's just a thing. Furthermore, he has siblings. So why are the siblings not stepping up here? Where are they at? Why is it all on this kid and not the rest of them? She probably should have help during the day, but if you have to work, you have to work. That's not an option. The first comment is from Hawaiian Styling, which says, "Work in office during that time, even if in office is the library or a cafe." NTJ. Yeah, you're not the jerk for not wanting to take care of someone else. Mariposa says, "Tell the siblings to take care of their mother, and your husband can take FMLA to stay at home and take care of his mother." That's an option. The mother's doctor can sign her up for home health care services. I mean, WTF does he want you to lose your job? Personally, if I had surgery like this, I'll probably have to have knee surgery, but not hip surgery. My husband would probably stay home for a few days, and then we would work out what we needed to do um, during the day, so I didn't have to get up and get around. Although you should be getting up and getting around because that's helpful when you have surgery. Any kind of surgery, you should be up as soon as you possibly can. Stand up straight if you have abdominal surgery, especially, and be moving around. It does help. My sister's a nurse, and she um We both had C-sections. And she's like, "You were really smart to get up and get around after yours because I didn't, and I should have." Let's see what's going on. It's on a little thingy. I have to probably move my light again. Oh well, we'll all live, right? We'll all live, maybe. Most of us, anyway, for a while. Next read is from Entitled People, entitled, "My sister cut me off because I didn't welcome them to my home for as long as they need vacation." Exactly as it is. My sister stopped talking to me because she decided to visit the country I live in with her family, and I was super excited initially. But as they started talking more details, they were planning to come for a couple of months, like months. And the expectation was by default to stay at our place. I was like asking more questions on the plan. No plan, just a couple of months is a repeated statement. They're planning to work full time at my home. Me and my boyfriend work full time from home. We have 3 bedrooms. If they stayed, I need to move our bedroom to work on top of these 2 people, or are going to work from home at odd hours due to the time zone difference. They haven't met my boyfriend yet. I had a knot in my stomach when the more I heard of their plans. I told my sis that you are welcome for 2 to 3 weeks. 2 weeks stay at ours and we can do road trips, all expenses, and I will bear 1 week for you guys can plan out wherever you want to go. I will give you our car. She was furious. How dare you give a time limit, and is not talking to me for a year now. So I guess that's over. Like, it's been a year, dude. The top comment is from Kate, and it says, "Are you sure it was a vacation? Sounds like they were moving in." It does. Um, if they're working from home, they can do that. Um, Arcus Tenebus says, "Free home room and board while they test drive living in a new country. If they don't like it, couldn't stay for visa reasons, etc., then they just hop on the plane and go back home." Yeah. Months seems like a long time to be away. I don't want to be away from my house that long. I certainly won't want to be in somebody else's house that long. A couple of weeks and I'm good. Really less than a couple of weeks. 10 days and I'm good. Our next read is from Malicious Compliance, and it's entitled, "I Need This Report Earlier." So I work in a science lab, and normally we write up our results for the day around 2 p.m. when all the testing is done, and we leave at 3:30. The boss's boss is mostly admin, and managerial works from 9 to 5. The boss's boss wants this report magically earlier in the day before we are done with all of our testing. He walks into the lab holding one of the reports, and this is paraphrased: "I need this earlier. You guys are always giving it to me after the day's over, and I can't make any changes." But they're done at 3:30, and you have an hour and a half after that, dude. I need to know what's going on sooner rather than later to make adjustments. 11 would be much better. I tried explaining that the reports are done at 2 because that's when all of the numbers are in. If I do it earlier, it won't be complete. He says, "What will be missing?" "This and this." I point to the sections. He says, "Oh, those aren't important. We don't make changes based on those." So I ask him to send me an email as a reminder to me and the rest of the lab as well so we can make this change. Will do. He walks back down to his office and sends it. I'm floored. So I ask my direct boss. She smiles, all too knowing what will happen. For the full month, we comply, but we leave 2 uninteresting numbers off the daily report every day simply because the numbers aren't in yet. The testing hasn't been done. Everyone in the lab is on board with this. So the end of the month comes around, and the boss is looking to print out his monthly compliance report, and he has a big empty section for for 2 pages. He can't figure it out. All of us have left by 3:30, and what should be a simple 5-minute print and hole punch job he does at the end of every day, every month. He has to go find where the 2 points of data are kept. I don't know why they didn't just send them to him at 2 o'clock like they normally would have, or put it on the previous day's account. That seems silly. I mean, I get why they're doing it, but the way they're doing it is kind of silly. Boss's boss was staying late on the last day of the month to get the report in. My boss ignored his calls for a few hours, but finally gave in about 7 to get back to him to tell him where he could find the numbers. Everything is labeled in the lab. He should have been able to resolve it himself. He was there until 8 putting the data in. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Tajin says, it amazes me that the boss wouldn't even think to just deal with the reports the following morning. Also, sorry, mildly confused. If you complied with the request for a month, why did the boss need to search out 2 months of data? It was not 2 months of data. It was two different datas, the whole month for each one. Okay. All right. Yeah, I don't work in a lab. I don't know how those things work, but it seems like to me, you would put it in the next day's report. That's those specific numbers would go in the next day's report. Because you can't just leave numbers empty. It seems silly. All right. Next we have AITAH, and it's entitled AITAH for snapping and asking our server, would you like us to order less? Ooh. So for context, I'm 34 weeks pregnant. After work today, I met up with a friend and my husband at Raw Bar for oysters and beer. I can't invite either of those things right now. I was just happy to be out. I walked in a few minutes after them and they were being greeted by the server. When I walked up, she looked at me and said, I see you waddling up. You can't eat here. Are you kidding me? That's so rude. And there's other things to eat, I'm sure. I laughed it off, assuming this was just an off-color joke, and told her I was happy to just hang out. After ordering drinks, my husband started talking with her about the oyster section. I introduced my husband to oysters a few years ago. When I'm not pregnant, I go out for oysters and beers as one of our things. I normally order the oysters. He doesn't know much about the different types or how the flavor changes by region. It's not a big deal. It's just something I know more about. He normally chooses our beers because that's something he knows more about. So after the server told us about the different choices, I started discussing them with my husband, telling him which ones I thought he would like. Our friend ordered other raw bar items but didn't want oysters. See, there's other things to eat. The server seemed annoyed by this and made a comment about how I was being bossy. I ignored her and ordered the oysters for my husband, and I made no other comments on anything else that was ordered for the table. First round came and my husband wanted more oysters, so he called the server back and asked me to tell her which oysters he liked so he could get more. This is where things went south. At his request, I ordered for him. The server, looking annoyed, said I was pushing him around and then said, I hope you come back when you're not pregnant so I can get to know the real you. This server should be fired. This is a manager issue. Like, I would be like going up to another server and asking for the manager. That's inappropriate completely. I snapped and I asked pointedly, would you like us to order less? She got quiet, walked away. A new server helped us for the rest of the night. Good. And she still should have been complained about to the manager. Now, do I think she was out of line? But pregnancy hormones are real, and I worry I should have just seen this as harmless clowning and not snout. No! Even if she thought it was harmless clowning, it's not funny. It's not funny, and it shouldn't be happening. Our friend says I was in the right, and my husband said it wasn't worth engaging. So Reddit AITAH. NTA, what she said was impolite and unprofessional. She should have just done her job instead of making unwanted comments. Furthermore, it is none of her business if you do eat the oysters. It's your body. You get to dictate what goes into it. You get to dictate what stays into it, if you know what I mean. It's not illegal. It's not recommended, but it is not illegal. I have a hair or something. I don't know. This thing's bothering me today. Um, it's not illegal to eat oysters when you're pregnant. It's not illegal to drink beer when you're pregnant. It's not recommended that you do that, and you probably shouldn't do that. But there's no law against it, and people should keep their mouth shut. Wonder why that one was deleted. Wow, there's lots of deleted ones. Someone said, quoted that, would you like us to order less compared to the server's rudeness and personal attacks? OP's response was very polite. And Glitzy Ritzy says, super nice, because my response would have been, I want to see a manager. Yeah, no kidding. That's what my response would have been too. OP says it did seem pretty wild felt at first like maybe she was trying to be funny, but something about her last comment just hit me hard. Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, she does not need to be in a customer facing position ever at all. If you ask me. Oh my goodness, craziness. Our next read is from Neighbors from Hell, and it's entitled Neighbor Banged on My Door. Well, that happens sometimes. I banged on neighbors' doors. Don't be whooping it up at 2 o'clock in the morning, keeping me awake when I'm 5 houses down the street. Rudeness. Walmart delivered groceries to my house that isn't mine once. Oh, that happens sometimes. Didn't even answer the door when they were dropped off. My daughter, who shouldn't even be opening any doors at her age, opened it and brought the groceries inside. Aw, what a sweetie. About 30 minutes later, my neighbor came banging on my door and asked whose it was. What? I asked who was it. Then checked my ring camera, and her whole attitude and face looked irritated and ready to fight. Once I realized it was her, I already knew the groceries had to be hers. I opened the door. She immediately started saying something about Walmart delivering her groceries to the wrong place and how it's getting on her nerves. Well, yeah, I can understand that, but that's not the person who received your groceries' fault. Before that, I heard her on my ring camera tell her son that who was with her, she would only get something, I'm assuming her phone, to show proof if I acted like I did not have them. Don't assume people are going to do the wrong thing. Don't assume it. Because most people will do the right thing, given a chance. Meanwhile, our 3 bags are sitting untouched on my living room floor right by the door. I told her she could go ahead and grab them. As soon as she realized I was not trying to steal anything, her whole energy changed. She waved at my kids and said thank you and walked off. But now that I think about it, why come with that kind of energy in the first place? Indeed. Indeed. Twisted Tuba says, my thought is that people have stolen her stuff before. Not your fault or problem, though. No, that's not stealing someone's stuff. Actually, if something shows up at your door, you are entitled to keep it. And they can go to the originator and figure it out from there. But you don't have to give stuff back. I mean, it's nice. I always do, but you don't have to. Yeah, appropriate bid says LP made it their problem when they pulled the items that weren't theirs into their house. Shouldn't matter. What if there was something frozen in there and she wanted to get it in the fridge for her? You know, all kinds of reasons to do that. Next we have benign existence. I rather like this one. This is a rather sweet one. This is overheard at a dinner party. Host. I try to explain life before phones to my kids, and it's like trying to explain air to fish. Mustard chicken guest. I guess that mustard chicken. No, I hear you. I took my kids to my hometown for Easter last year. My extended family couldn't work it out to travel down there. My daughter was saying, I don't know what you complain so much about. I tried to tell her you've got your phone and movies here. You're in constant contact with all of your friends. Back when we rented movies once a month and it was a huge deal. We'd watch it like 6 times. The high school football team played games. We'd go wait all week to go to those games. No one in our family even played. We'd check my great grandmother out of memory care to go to those games. Host, exactly right. That's exactly it. When my neighbor would exercise his horses, we'd go to the fence and watch them ride around in a circle, and they think I'm crazy. Yeah, we did lots of stuff for entertainment back in the day. Luckily, I had entertainment like gifted to me, basically. Um, because my family owns a campground, so we always had the campground kids to play with in the summer. Um, we managed. We didn't even have a theater in our town after the last one burned down. Town had four theaters in the early 50s and one in the 70s, and it burned down. We had none. So we'd have to drive at least 20 miles to go to see a movie. It was a pain. There was nothing to do in that town until they opened an arcade. And that was not a great arcade either, but we hung out there a lot. Oh, we did have a bowling alley. The bowling alley was good. bowling alley was like if you couldn't go out of town, you went bowling. You went bowling, you went to the high school football and basketball games, sometimes baseball, but baseball was more in the spring and you had more stuff to do outside. We did have lakes and stuff, so it was as far to go to the beach as it was to go to a movie. So in the summer, that's way cheaper. Slow opportunity is a top commenter. It says, "This makes my heart sad. I took my babies to a Polar Express train ride the other day, and everyone and their mothers had their phone out snapping photos and videos the whole time. I get it. I got some nice pictures too, but I don't know. I feel like so much joy gets zapped out of the world from these stupid little devices. I get that they have their good uses, though, too." Uh, Udaman Prime says, "I never took many photos during the later parts of my life. There exists maybe 5 photos of me for a period of 25 years. I am regretting not taking more pictures. You think you can remember it all, but if you forget to recall, then you won't remember it. And memory changes over time. Traffic in the 1990s was atrocious. I saw videos of that time, and compared to traffic today, it was really traffic today is really tame." I don't know. I drove in the 90s. I didn't think traffic was atrocious then. Oh. Solo Sleepy says, "I want to go back." Glary Party Riot says, "Take me with you. I need a break from this age." I think we all need a break. I think things would be better if some people had made better choices. But here we are. Thanks. Next is Just No Mill. My mother-in-law is said the saddest thing the other day, and I'm not sure how to even process it. "Hi all. I have posted a couple times on here, and I'm happy to report that things have gotten better." That's a good update. "My husband has started to really hold the line on things, and thankfully, my in laws have started to really turn a corner. Let's hope I don't jinx it by with the holidays coming. But the other day at dinner, my mother in law said something that made me legitimately just go and hug my husband because it was so sad. We were at my house because little man was getting over a cold. Oh, poor guy. I hope he feels better. They came here, and my son was running around and playing with his toys and laughing. She then goes, 'Wow, my kids were never this happy.' Oh, that is sad. Oh, my goodness. My husband is a very sensitive human and doesn't open up much. And I've always had my suspicions from what he's told me about his childhood. But hearing his mom flat out say that their kids never laughed and played, ouch, my heart. My husband just kind of nodded and we went on with the rest of dinner. But damn, it reminds me just how different the world I'm creating for my son is that my husband was. And that kind of makes me go down a rabbit hole every once in a while. Just my thoughts. Thanks for reading." Wow, to say somebody saying my kids were never this happy. That's horrible. The poor kids. Oh, I can't even. Carla Koalama says, "My grandma's literally yesterday. It's so amazing how both parents nowadays make the needs and well being of their kids top priority. My highly traumatized aunt sat across from her. I might have felt similar to you. We're not letting a generational trauma ruin our kids, and that's the goal. And you're doing a good job, Mama." Yeah, I did that with my kids. I didn't let generational trauma ruin my kids. They were happy, especially right before bed when they were running around in a circle. Highly recommend if you have kids, have an island in your kitchen or 2 doors at the end of your living room so they can run a circle right before bedtime. We called it the storm before the calm because they would get all their energy out, and it was great. We used to count how many times they'd go around. And, of course, if you have really little ones that can walk, their vocal cords are connected to their legs, and they just scream the whole time. Oh, next we have Server Life. Someone was kind enough to leave us a gift outside the restrooms today. Uh-oh. Um, yeah, it's a nice gift. I don't think it's appropriate to leave something that's been peed on a bed. At least it was outside. Oh, bummer. Oh, that's sad. Well, maybe it's good. I don't know. It depends. But yeah, don't leave that there. That's not cool. Stop it. Stop doing that. No, don't do that. Do not do that. Mass redemption said, "Good news. At least they're not procreating." Yeah, it could have been worse. It could have been in the form of a baby, which is what Real Tech says. At least, yeah, at least gift is in the form of a baby. Oh, geez, that's pretty wild. Somebody got put up a GIF of some game show. It might be from the show. Oh, Golden Girls. It says better late than, and he's got his card, and Blanche says pregnant. She's not wrong. Sometimes it is better late than pregnant. Oh, next we have Petty Revenge, and it's entitled "A Year Ago, I got to give my mother's husband a taste of his own actions. My stepfather is the most dirtiest person ever. He left hair all over the bathroom, took a bath and did not clean after, left pee stains all over the toilet seat and bathroom floor. Ugh. And was sometimes not flush. And we're not just talking about pee. I got tired of having to clean the bathroom before using it every morning, so I started off lightly with sending a picture of his poop to my mom every time he did not flush. Good for you, OP. When he left hair all over the bathroom, I cleaned the hair with his toothbrush. Ooh, and finished off with a clean wipe using his face cloth. Every time he left pee stains, I used his face cloth to wipe it and hang it without washing it. Ew, what if somebody else used it though? When he took a bath and left without cleaning, I used his face cloth to wipe the majority of the dirt. He woke up every day complaining that his face cloth smelled funny, his toothbrush had hair. Of course, we all brushed it off. After a good 2 weeks, he started behaving and keeping the bathroom clean. Everything was but when I left, but recently I came back from college to find him back to his old ways. So I'll be continuing with my work along with a few new tricks. I hope this time he will learn to be clean. Oh my goodness. Top comment is from Il Chaotic Pay Paynell. And it says, "Oh, I see why he does that. A couple came to mind, maybe more. One, the man of the house, so he assumes the woman must clean. Two, lazy. Three, a mental piece of poop. The OP says he's quite spoilt. My mom does everything for him. I'm assuming she's getting tired of doing everything, hence leaving this matter to me." Oh, wow. Some people. Yes, clean up after yourselves. My husband does it all the time. I don't either, so I guess we're fair. We had a discussion about workloads yesterday, and we're both agreed that we're okay, which is good. Which is good that one person doesn't feel overwhelmed, although mine are more daily than his, which is kind of a pain. But he does help out occasionally. Oh, we have expectation versus reality. And it's time to share. It's about the Christmas trees. She says she bought a Christmas tree on Facebook Marketplace. And this was the picture. This is what the seller posted. And this is what she got. Oh my goodness. Oh my God. This is what it looks like in our house. I'm laughing so hard. Oh my. Gotta take a look at them specs, peeps. I came across yesterday and I've been binge watching a gal on TikTok or not on TikTok, yeah, not on Facebook, YouTube, that she buys things like either AI or obviously a stolen picture, and and then tries to find the real life thing. She spent like $5,000 on a dress. $5,000. The AI stuff, sometimes she just doesn't get it. Somebody stole her credit card information, which is bad. He says, Lon Lontology says, "I know it looks nothing like what was advertised, but honestly, I love it." Yopi says they love it. My sister says every time she walks in the room and sees it, she laughs. Hey, I mean, what else you gonna do? That sounds like a good. I mean, you gotta enjoy it. You gotta enjoy the misery along with the joy, and that's miserable joy right there. Present Mastodon says, "I've been looking for a tree exactly like this on offer up and Facebook Marketplace near me. I'm a little jealous. It's nice for kids and cats in super small spaces. I'm glad it grew on you. Honestly, they always remind me of the cartoon Grinch movie, not just not leaning." Mensch said, "I got mine at Michael's marked down from 140 to 50 bucks." 50 bucks. Yikes. That's so expensive for that little tree. I would say 25. Oh, that's cute. And it's that time again. If you have not already, please like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications. I try to go live at least 4 times a week, usually about noon Eastern time. Usually Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. I will not be on Friday because I'm trying to go grocery shopping again, or grocery shopping, Christmas shopping again. You know what happened last Friday. Got the headache and couldn't finish. I also need to do some, really, really, really need to do some, candy making. It's going to get away from me. I just know it. I have to do some on the weekend. Also tell everybody, tell your friends, tell your family, tell your worst enemies. Maybe they'll learn how not to behave. A lot of these are lessons in how not to behave. Don't do this, don't do that. Treat people well. Costs you nothing to be kind. If you have a story of your own or come across a good one in the wild, please send us an email entitled submission. If you would like an email to the current day's late, send an email entitled subscribe. The email is biddybrunchbunch, all one word, at gmail.com, and I will email the subscribers. Well, subscribe to the channel, but that you may or may not get this notification in time. So as soon as I send that, if you have your notifications on for your email, you will get it right away. The email address is also in the description, as well as the change.org petition and the article to that poor girl's um, the court case for the parents. And then we have Zillow Gone Wild. And I don't like how they don't tell you how many pictures they have. They do on if you use the app on the phone. It tells you how many photos are in the batch. And I'm not doing these beforehand, sorry. T- 20. Okay, we had 35 photos. There we go. Okay. I might just start doing. This looks like a very lovely place. What does it say? I think I found the most weirdly elegant house ever for $24 million. What do you think? That is beautiful. That's a beautiful house. I love that house. I mean, yeah, gotta have your little pop of color, I guess. I really like that though. That's also nice. I would do something other than the red, but that's okay. This is a little circusy for me. It's looking like it's giving circus. It's giving circus. I mean, by themselves, the furniture isn't that bad, but well, that green, I don't like that green. I don't like that green room at all. Um, I really like the dark gray. I really, really like that. I might use that in my bedroom. You might see. I know it looks kind of looks like that now, but it's not. It's a mauve, I think, taupe or mauve. But I don't like all the furniture together like that. I think that it should be more cohesive, but individually, except for the green, that's not bad. That's too much flower. I do like that color though. I do like the wall color on that one. Yeah, this is giving circus. It's just giving green circus. Oh my goodness. No. What even is that? Is that like the kitchen? That has a weird kitchen. That's weird. That's nice. I like that. That's okay. That kind of a butler's pantry. I wish they would also like caption the photos. This is like a more of a porch area. I really like that. That's nice. Those fans are wild. I'm assuming those are fans and not just lights. Maybe they're just lights. I think I would want a fan in there. I don't like pictures like this. Like, what are you trying to show me? What are you trying to show me? Waste a picture. Okay, we can do without the mural. Is that wallpaper? Is that mural wallpaper? I know where I can get a real one done. That's nice. I really like that. Hopefully you don't ever lose those trees though. Yeah, that's a nice bathroom. Very nice bathroom. I don't think I'd do the that cover up that window with that picture like that. Why are there doors into the tub? It's so weird. Why are there doors? That's nice. I have no issues. See, that looks cheap to me. The the light fixture thing. I think this is just a closet, just a linen closet. That's a big linen closet. It does have six beds and 9 baths, so you're gonna need a lot of linens. Is this another closet? This is a closet. That's a ginormous closet, and also a door to the outside. Like these people are just looking to get robbed. Oh, oh my no, no, absolutely not. This is just a sitting area. This would be a nice little library reading room. The I kind of like the plants on the wall. Maybe I'm weird. I don't know. Am I weird? Please comment down below if I'm weird. I'm weird. I know I'm weird. It's fine. That's different. I mean, it's a choice. It's not necessarily a horrible choice. It's not necessarily a great choice. I would think the if the ceiling were a different color, it might be better. I mean, I like the concept. I do. I just don't like the execution this way. Is this a bedroom? What is this? No. What is with the stripes in these people? Just no. No. What you can do with when you have money and more money than you have sense. That's okay. I can live with that. I like that color green. The wallpaper, I don't like wallpaper in general, but that's okay. It's a normal wallpaper that people have. It's all right. Still okay. I don't think it's a good idea to have wallpaper in a bathroom that you have a like a tub in and a shower. I like that. I like that color. Wallpaper's okay. I mean, you could be more accenty with the drapes or something, or put it on a different wall, or put a different color on that wall, or a solid on that wall would make more sense to me. I did have an interior design class in college. Be quiet. Be quiet. Don't like I don't care for that. I mean, the color's okay. I don't like the gold necessarily. I don't like the um, wallpaper, but it's also in a bathroom again. Okay, that's way too busy. Who can sleep in there? You have nightmares. You have nightmares about tigers coming out of the jungle and eating you all night. That's that's nice. I like that. This is a little the mirror's a little too fancy for my taste. Picture's nice. I like that picture. Oh, she's got a little blue boy. Blue boy. A little blue boy sitting there. My grandma had a blue boy. Wonder what happened to that. I think my dad has it actually. I think I saw it at his house. See, now that's better. If you're gonna have the floral stuff, this is much better. Much better. And then we're back to wallpaper. So much wallpaper. This is, I like that window. This window's kind of cool. I wouldn't want to replace it, but it's kind of cool. Wouldn't want to replace the panes in that. I hope they got good triple pane glass in there. Um, that that shower does not go with that wallpaper at all. And do you really need a window into your shower like that? Just put a just oh, there's a light in it. It doesn't even it doesn't need it. I don't like it. I get that you don't want a whole wall. I don't know. I don't know. This whole bathroom is shaped weirdly or something. Something's wrong with it. I can't place it. Can anyone help? That's cute. I like that little tree. That's a nice little tree. I still don't understand the concept of these weird. See, that's better. That's a better picture. Oh, they got skylights up there too. That's kind of cool. Get a picture of the path. Yeah, you got kind of gotta have that. Oh, look at the nice pool area. That's really nice. This is like three houses in one. One, two, three. Wow, it's three houses. It really is two. I say it's 21,830 square feet. That's a lot. Yeah, my house could fit into that multiple times. Multiples of times. 10 of 'em, at least 10. Yeah, maybe 20. Maybe close to 20 times. That's cute. I like that. I'd probably paint it, but that's really cute. I like the rustic. And that's it. And I'll probably go and look at that later too. I'm weird. I like looking at real estate. I always have. Okay. um, the top comment is I can't decide if I love it or hate it, but it's $24 million, so I guess it doesn't matter what I think anyway. True, Joshua. He's got 3 A's. Sacred Friendship said, "That's what I'm saying. I like some of." Oh, the OP says, "That's what I'm saying. I like some of them where there are parts that I like, and I like some. Oh, I like some of it. Then there are parts like, what the heck were they thinking exactly?" The Joshua answers, "Thematic rooms can be fun, but having a whole living room painted as one big optical illusion is crazy." It's. I'm telling you, it's giving circus. It's giving circus. All right. Our next read is from Traumatize Them Back, and it's entitled Too Young to Be Disabled. These are never good, guys. You can be disabled at any age. You can be born disabled. So I am 38-year-old female. This happened loads of times to me, but this one really that got me annoyed the most. I was about 31 and I was on my way to a doctor's appointment. So I drove myself there like normal and parked in the designated disabled spot at the end of the street. I have a disabled badge and a disabled parking disc. This is clearly not in the US because we don't got those things. It's clearly on display on my dashboard for any parking wardens that may come by. All of a sudden, a car pulls up behind me and pulls really close to my bumper. This made me worried about getting out after my appointment, especially since there's no spaces behind the one I was in. The next thing I know, there's a loud, frantic tapping at my window. This gives me a small heart attack because it was literally something from a horror movie. Outside my window is an elderly woman who looked to be in her 70s. She was knocking on my window nonstop. I rolled down my window to see what she was needing, and before I even got a chance to open my mouth, she starts yelling at me, "How dare you park in the spot? This is a disabled spot." Well, yeah, no kidding. That's why I have a disabled sticker. My husband needs a spot for his doctor's appointment, so need to move now. It's absolutely disgusting that young people these days have no respect for anything. I looked at her for a moment, completely dumbfounded because I didn't say anything for a second. She started on a tirade the second time. This time I stopped her and said that I also needed the space. I am disabled. If she'd looked on my dashboard, she'd see my disabled badge. This seemed to send her off the deep end. That's not your badge. You must have stolen that badge. Oh my God. These people. You are too young to be disabled. And something in me snapped at that point. I took my badge off the dash and showed her my picture on the back. And then I told her to step back from my door. Now, I can kind of walk on crutches on a good day, but my bad days I have to rely on my wheelchair. On the seat beside me, I had both in case I needed them. This was one of my better days, so I could have used the crutches, but this lady had really pissed me off this time. So I may have exaggerated every single movement of getting the chair out of the car and assembled. And I may have made some extra pain noises transferring from the car to the chair. It always hurts me because of my conditions, but I may have put on some extra flair. This lady watched me in horror the whole time. She didn't offer to help. To be honest, she seemed so horrified I doubt she could have if she wanted to. Probably, yeah. I closed the car door, and looked at her dead in the eyes and went, Am I disabled enough for you?" Her face was white, any color was completely gone. Before wheeling myself away, I told her she should be ashamed of herself. She was a woman with no manners and respect. It doesn't matter how old you are. Disability does not discriminate, unlike you just did. On that note, she scurried back to her car as fast as she could, promptly reversed from the back of my car, and drove off rather hurriedly. As I said, this happened a lot in my life, even as recently as last month. But that was the one I couldn't keep my emotions in check. Thank for reading my long story. You should not have your emotions in check more often, girly. Dragon Dragonfly Fire says, Since when is youth a cure-all?" Yeah, no kidding. Like I said, you can be disabled from birth. And when someone's sitting in a car, you can't necessarily tell that they're disabled. Maybe they have bone cancer as a child and had their leg amputated at age 7. Maybe they got in a car accident right after graduation and had to have their leg amputated. Maybe they were born with cerebral palsy. You can't tell just from somebody sitting in a car what's going on with them. Weekly Watercress says, "My mother used to believe that children didn't get cancer or headaches or anything until her great grandson developed cancer at just 16 months of age and lost an eye. Poor kid. He recently turned 19. Oh, that's good. I'm glad he survived it. Until then, she had the irrational, illogical belief that only adults get deadly diseases. Children don't. Children just fake illnesses to get out doing things. And if they did get sick, it's just a fever that a couple of aspirin will cure." Eye roll emoji. She was very successful, intelligent businesswoman, but when it came to medical issues, definitely not so much. I'm surprised my siblings and I survived childhood, so I can understand that some people can be very stupid. Yeah, true. Um, Children don't fake diseases, and I have known little kids with cancer too. Not all of them survive. It's really sad and heartbreaking to watch people go through that. This is from Confession. It says, I'm a frogger living in someone else's apartment right now. Ask me anything. Um, and it's a use AI to accurately translate, stop bringing it up. English is my third language, and I run my text through AI for your convenience. I'm a 20-year-old woman. For the past few years, I've been living as a frogger in an apartment in a historic building in St. Petersburg, Russia. I don't know what a frogger is. And is it spelled Frogger or PH Frogger? I have to look it up. So it's someone secretly living inside your occupied home without your knowledge. They hide in walls, attics, or crawl spaces and hopping from place to place like a frog. Well, that's disturbing. Why are you doing that? That's weird. I found out about the place while working on a student report about old residential buildings with my classmate. Let's call her Anya. Anya lived in one of those big old apartments, basically a Soviet era communal flat. It's a huge apartment split into separate rooms rented by unrelated people, all sharing the same kitchen and bathroom. It's like a boarding house. Everyone has their own room key plus keys to the building and the main apartment door. While we were filming, Anya mentioned that people in her flat almost never lock their room doors, and the main door is often left open because tenants go to the stairwell to smoke. I remember thinking anyone who gets inside the building could just walk into this place. Kind of shocking because in Russia, everyone usually locks everything all the time. She also told me there are two locked storerooms in the base inside the apartment that no one has entered for years. Apparently, they belong to the state. That's weird. Both doors were secured with a simple padlock held in place by a few screws. Screws you could remove with a basic screwdriver. I was curious because old St. Petersburg buildings' abandoned rooms sometimes hide interesting antiques. I forgot about that place until I dropped out of university. I lost my dorm room and I couldn't find an affordable apartment anywhere near my job. After wasting a month's salary on a tiny overpriced room in another communal flat, I suddenly remembered Anya's building. And then I had a ridiculous but tempting idea. I grabbed a small bag and a screwdriver and went there to see if I'd be lucky or kicked out immediately. I arrived around 3 p.m. when most residents should be at work. I waited by the entrance and slipped in when someone walked out. The apartment was unsurprisingly unlocked. I stepped in, ready to tell anyone who saw me that I was visiting Anya, but the shared areas were empty. So I pulled out the screwdriver and started removing the screws from one of the padlocks. My hands were shaking, but no one showed up, and eventually the lock gave way. Just broke in. Inside was just a plain empty storage room, not a hidden apartment, not a secret chamber filled with antiques. Darn, that stinks. So it's Al Capone's vault. She found Al Capone's vault. Just 4 steps wide and 6 steps long. A dusty bike. Oh, there was a bike. An old sewing machine in a wooden case. That's kind of cool. No window, a small ventilation hole, and 2 electrical outlets, only one of which worked. Bare concrete walls and floor. I decided to see how long I could stay there. The first night felt like an adventure. It got cold fast, so I ended up spending the night locked in the shared bathroom. After that, I went back to the storage room. When the tenants left for work, I tried checking unlocked doors. I knocked first, and if no one answered, I peeked inside. Same day, I snagged a spare set of 3 keys from one of the rooms and went back to my rented place. I ordered a sleeping bag, a cheap heater, and a water filter online. The next time I returned to the storage room, it already felt weirdly like home. Turns out Anya moved out long ago. There are 6 rooms in the flat. Only 3 are occupied now, one by a mom and her kid, one by 2 young women, and one by an old lady who constantly goes out to smoke in the stairwell. Oh, we have a dentist appointment. I have a dentist appointment. Attach a thin wire to the padlock outside so I can pull it back into place from inside and make it look untouched. The storage room is right by the entrance and no one pays attention to it, so no one has noticed me. I put a small mattress under my sleeping bag. I fill my water filter from the shared kitchen tap. I enter the empty bedrooms to charge my phone and power bank or use someone's printer. You have an outlet. Why don't you just charge it in your room? Get a strip. Get a power strip. Or use uses their printer. Nice. I shower in the shared bathroom. The heater does a decent job in the tiny room, although still scared the one working outlet will burn out, leaving me freezing in the winter. Then you go frog somewhere else, I guess, lady. Every day I eat at a nearby canteen, walk around, talk to people. Then at night I come back to my storage room. I live a pretty normal life and I don't pay insane rent. After 6 months, it honestly feels like this is exactly how things are supposed to be. Update. OMG, such a huge amount of feedback. I expected people either wouldn't believe me or would judge me for using AI and that the post would just get buried. I think I already answered a lot of questions and they're starting to repeat. I've responded to pretty much everything related to my situation. Honestly, I only use Reddit twice and I'm not an active user, so constantly checking the comments is really draining for me emotionally. You put it out there, chickie. And being this open about my situation has been a serious test for my conscience. Please don't get angry if I ignore your question. I've most likely already answered something similar. I'm going to step offline for a while. I'll check back when I feel ready. My heartfelt thanks to the people who wrote supportive words. I don't really deserve it, but I know that you're wonderful people and your capacity for empathy is truly virtuous. Asked, so you're totally unseen for 6 months. What if you have to cut, sneeze, fart, or have to leave for work, but people are just there? And Naughty Cal says, yeah, I'm not buying what they're selling here. And Princess Lucy says, it's entertaining, but doesn't feel believable. Somebody says it's AI generated. Yeah, it's weird. It's a weird story. I guess people do that and get away with it sometimes, but they're all usually found out eventually, I would think. Interesting AF. A 29-year-old woman pretended to be a nurse for 7 months. She treated over 4,000 patients and only got caught after she was offered a promotion. Oh my goodness, that's wild. There's no link. There's a couple pictures of her, but there's no link. Um, Lavatherm says, but we want to know, how are the patients? Zoe says, considering she was going to get promoted, they must have been treated well. That's true. Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. How can you do that for so long and get a promotion and not know what you're doing? Oh, the next one is from Am I the A-hole, AITA, for kicking out a family that gate crashed a private party. No? Okay. I booked a soft play for my son's birthday. It has both public sessions and private sessions. One of the private sessions and didn't interfere with the usual times that's available to the public. When I opened the buffet, a woman I didn't know approached me asking if her children could have some. I explained that I had booked the venue for a private party. She said, that doesn't matter. My children want some food. Well, you can go feed your kids elsewhere. I replied, no, because the food was for the party. She walked away, telling her children to just wait until I had left the food area. Realizing she wasn't taking my answer, I asked staff to talk to her. They did, explaining it was a private event and they needed to leave. She shouted that her and her children were not leaving and that I should be told to allow the children to have the food. No. Again, no. I went back over it and said again it was a private event. She shouted, what is a sandwich? Repeated at me until I shouted back that she needed to leave. She eventually did leave, flicking the V's at me as she walked out the door. I don't know what that means. I know what flipping the bird at you means. Soft play wasn't at capacity in truth, and there probably was enough food for them to have some at the buffet, but the way she approached me with the assumption I'd say yes, and then blatantly planning to disregard my answer made me stand my ground. If it was a private event, how'd she get in there anyway? So, AITA for kicking out the gate crashers. Added, okay, so first of all, I did not expect this to literally blow up the way it has. I thought a couple of people would say yes or no, and that would be it. Apologies for the long edit, but here's a few of the themes within the comments, so I'll try to address them. A soft play is a massive indoor climbing frame covered with padding and safety nets with slides and ball pits. I think some may call it a jungle gym, but not sure that's a direct comparison. No, it's not a jungle gym, it's a playscape. It's an indoor playscape, like we have at McDonald's. Sign but showing the back of your hand about the same level as rude as giving the middle finger in the UK or in the US. The venue shares a desk with an adjoining sports hall, I would think, which wasn't running open sessions as it was hosting a game. Past the desk is the exit. There's one door in, one door out thing. Door one to the soft play, door two to the sports hall. It is a sports hall. I found out later she had come to use the sports hall and was told about the game. Staff thought she went out the exit. I mean, staff can't watch everybody all the time. I've spoken to the venue about her being able to get in, and they apologize and are changing how they operate the private sessions. Despite this happening, I think the place has appropriate security measures. I think she took advantage of the staff being busy, letting in spectators to the sports hall, and tried her luck. Probably some people will take any advantage. As we have an invite for a party here in a few weeks. I'll know if they do and can raise it again if needed, but hopefully they won't need to. I went back over when the staff member was talking to her because I felt bad about putting a young girl in the firing line. Yeah, I would have probably done the same, to be honest. This one was just shouting that she wasn't leaving. I also hadn't spotted them coming in, but I should have let her or her manager sort it out. This is in the UK. This wasn't food stamps. Food stamps have been taken and a free chains a free meal or starve tonight situation. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. She was somewhere where she didn't belong. She wasn't supposed to be there. It was a private event. When she eventually left, she bought snacks out of the overpriced vending machine. That obviously doesn't tell us any of her full story, but the venue has like 10 places within a few minutes walk with much more affordable snacks than food choices are. Some people asked about the kids' ages. Top age of uninvited kid was 5. Her 2 kids were 8 or 9 and 9 or 10. I replied a couple comments that I would have told her the kids could have come after the guests had eaten if it had been a question and not a demand. I'm responsible for my actions, but they were not influenced by hers. I'm glad I stood my ground and I wasn't bullied at my own event, even though I'm not proud of that I did shout at the end. People who are shouting at you deserve to get shouted at. It's just how things are. Again, I didn't expect this would get so much attention, but to those who were polite and asked questions, thank you. To anyone who said, "Why are you even asking?" or similar, I was asking to gauge if I was unreasonable for standing my ground because of her actions and reactions. Maybe this was the wrong sub. I'm not very Reddit savvy. Apologies if I put it in the wrong place. No, it was the right place to ask. People are just jerks, even on Reddit. Maybe especially on Reddit. No, no, it's especially on Facebook where people are jerks. Oh, complete jerks, I might add. Complete and utter. Go Metalistic says, just a guess, but she probably would have complained that her kids are a cookie eater or food allergies weren't being accommodated. You did the right thing. Prof Chaos says, I bet she'd have way more than just one sandwich. It's probably true. Yeah. She was taking advantage as it was. She would push it to the limits, most likely. Like, why would you even do that? I would be embarrassed. I would be embarrassed. Overheard. This is from Overheard. I've known Trump since I was 5 yesterday old. Heard today while having lunch, 2 retirees sitting at a bar. Blue shirt. I've known Trump since I was 5 years old. White shirt. Oh, that's right. You are from New York. Blue shirt. He's from New York. I don't understand what the problem is. That's just how New Yorkers are. Yellow shirt guy sitting next to them stands up to leave. No, they're not. I'm from Brooklyn, and he's just a piece of crap. You guys have a nice day." And they both stopped and left. I've been to New York. Everybody was very nice. So, not Trump. River Harris says, "I've known Trump since I was 10. That's when he divorced Ivana. Their stupid dirty laundry was all over the tabloids, which my Nana bought religiously. When I'd visit her, I'd read them all. But yeah, even at 10, I was like, what is wrong with this guy? He's a jerk." Oh, what year did he divorce? Because I was pretty young when that happened too. I remember it. Okay. 1990? Okay, I guess I wasn't that young when they got divorced. I was an adult and getting married. So I was 25 when he divorced Ivana. And yeah, it was all over everywhere. All over everywhere. You couldn't avoid it. Yeah, that's crazy. Oh, well, not something I'd brag about. The next one is True Off My Chest, entitled My Wife Thinks It's Us Versus the World and I Don't. I think I'm getting close to accepting that I'm going to divorce my wife soon. It's honestly one of the saddest realizations I've had in a long time. I'm sorry, OP, that's terrible. It's not because of another person or anything dramatic like that. It's actually something way more boring, but way more fundamental, how we see the world. There's been a lot of divorces on how people see the world lately. For years, I've been trying to tell her how important community is to me, how nothing I've accomplished has ever been me against the world. I don't see the red flags early on, but she's always had this mindset that our whole life is just the two of us grinding together and that all of our successes come from that little bubble. And I get that sometimes couples feel this way, but that's just not my reality. Everything good in my life has been a team effort with people outside my house. I'm not ashamed of that. I'm grateful for it. Teachers who believed in me, a boss who treated me like a human being, friends who referred me to jobs so I didn't have to push applications nonstop. Even our mail lady who yelled at my kid for not wearing a helmet. She literally helped keep him safe. And I'll never forget the Uber driver who drove all the way back from Rhode Island to return my wallet the day of an important exam. I could have failed that exam, lost that opportunity, but she showed up for me, a damn stranger. My whole life has been shaped by people who don't have to help me but did, and I've always believed you have to be a villager if you expect a village. My wife doesn't see it that way. She thinks her and I versus the world full stop, and it leaves her alienated and angry a lot of the time. And it makes me feel like I'm living on small on purpose. I've tried telling her I'm unhappy. I've tried telling her I want to build on connection, not isolation. She thinks all of this means I'm seeing someone else. I'm not. I'm just tired of feeling like I'm betraying my own values every day. Yeah, that sounds really hard, OP. I'm really sorry. Um, have you tried marriage counseling? I mean, I would try it before I gave up. Whoa, Simba, back. Another throwaway says, I'm having a hard time here without any examples of her behavior. Of course, if you want to divorce her, you're always within your rights, but being married myself for over a decade, I can't even relate to this type of marital dispute. And another poster says, I feel like I'm missing key parts of the issue. Um, yeah, I would need more information. More information needed. Examples of wife's behavior. Is she really isolating you? Is she not letting you have friends? That's bad, if she is. All right, the next one is from What Do I Do? I got this as a gift from my boss, but they didn't like it at all and didn't think it was funny. What do I do now? It's awkward. And it's a little calendar. Um, 365 days of corporate jargon. It's fun. It's fine. It's fine. Hold on. I gotta share it with you. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. It's a silly little gift. It's for bosses. It's made for bosses. Thursday, can you see my screen? Actual meaning, is anyone in this call actually connected? Connecting. That's funny. I like it. Circle back. Actual meaning. Let's take a look at this pointless task later at a later time. I like it. If I was a boss, I would think that was funny. Uh, Mr. Hippo says your manager sounds miserable. Carry on as you are. If they want to make things awkward, let them. Yeah. Rob Eastwood says, for real. I have 40 plus direct reports and I think this is hilarious. I'm going to buy one for our senior RTM. I don't know what that means. And Charlotte Dew says I'm going to buy one for my partner. See, everybody's buying one now. This is just an advertisement. This is just an advertisement for that calendar. No, I like the calendar. I do. Maybe I can get a calendar of affirmations and we can do that every day. Although that's too many affirmations for what we're doing here. Oh, next read is from entitled parents, entitled My Mom Used My Credit Card Just Once and Now I'm Dealing with the Fallout. Oh gosh. This is fraud. This is financial abuse and fraud. I, 24 female, moved out of my parents' house late last year and finally started managing my own money. Got a decent job, started using a credit card after building credit score with a Fizz card. And was finally at some good financial numbers. Good for you, OP. Proud of you. It's what you should be doing. A few months ago, I went home for a weekend visit. While I was there, my mom asked if she could borrow my card to buy something online since hers was acting up. I hesitated, but she promised it was just for one small purchase, and she Venmoed me right away. It was like $60, so I didn't think much of it. Fast forward 2 weeks, I'm checking my account to see multiple charges from random sites I've never heard of. 30 here, 50 there, $200 from Target. My mom admitted she accidentally saved my card on her browser and used it a few times because she forgot which card was which. My youngest son, has my credit card information linked to his Amazon card. He has never once accidentally ordered something and put it on our card. Not one time. That's no excuse. I asked her to stop and I told her I'd dispute the charges. She got defensive and said I was overreacting and acting like she's a stranger. I told her it's about responsibility. She told me I've changed since moving out and that money shouldn't come between my family. You're right, money shouldn't come between family because you shouldn't be using your other family's cards. So yeah, if you don't do that then you won't be money won't be coming between you. Now I'm stuck dealing with the mess. My score dipped because of the increased utilization, and I had to file dispute charges for a few charges she didn't remember. She still hasn't paid me back. Of course not. She never will. I love my mom, but this crossed the line. Yeah, I did. I work really hard to build decent credit, and now I feel stupid for letting this happen. It's not, no, don't feel stupid. You should be able to trust your mother, just like my kids can trust me. And if I accidentally did that, I would be embarrassed and I would fix it. Matter of fact, I gotta ask my kid how much he spent on my car because he fixed it. Remember a little fender bender last month? Um, he'll probably say nothing because we've given him money recently, so I don't think he's gonna worry about $80. But I'm still gonna offer. I'm still gonna offer. My husband hasn't already. Pilot Environmental says, I'm sorry your mother let you down this way. I'm skeptical as to whether or not she really did this by accident. I think she asked you because she was planning on doing this right from the start. Probably. Ruby Not Tawny says, I've done this actually. My boyfriend paid for a DoorDash. The next time I ordered, I didn't notice it was his card, but I don't think that's the situation here. OP, call the credit card company and let you know and tell them you lost the card and ask them to send you a new one. Don't loan it to anyone ever again. Yeah, a new card number because she still has that number. Who knows what she's doing with that number? It's really scary because your parents also have your social security numbers. I mean, I have my kids' social security numbers. I needed them. Even in adulthood, you often need your kids' social security numbers because we had to put them on our will and stuff. And anytime you do benefits thing for beneficiaries, you have to have your credit card. I had to have our grandkids' credit card numbers or social security numbers the other day because we opened up account for them. Yeah, I told you I don't need money from this. This is not for money. Oh, alrighty. And bye bye job. We have college dumps vice chair who marched with fascists. Okay, that's fair. That's really fair. Nobody wants that. As the vice chair of Exeter College of Further Education. I'm assuming this is in the UK because they're got UK flags and stuff. His name's Patrick Tigwell, and he marched with fascists in Exeter last weekend, which was a week before Halloween, the weekend before Halloween. There's a bunch about DEI policy. I don't even know why that's in there. It's weird. Anyway, he got fired for being dumb because fascists are dumb. Book Bison says, I have a master's from the University of Exeter. So happy my uni is so speedily dumped this fascist. And somebody deleted something. It says, no idea who the guy is and not from the area, but the title of the post and the text of the article are pretty clear that he joined a fascist Britain First march. And quick Wikipedia search agrees that Britain First is a fascist and neo-fascist political party, so it seems to check out. If you look at old Nazi marches and rallies and ask what makes the marchers Nazis when people call them Nazis, true. If someone's calling you a fascist, you might want to look at your own actions, especially if you're right wing. Unless the right winger calling you fascist and you're left wing, then they're just dumb. Our next read is from Am I Overreacting? AIO to my estranged husband's text. This is real short. I'm not even going to show it. It says, how you doing today at 10? And then there was no answer. And then at 6:47, 4 months, that's all it took you to forget about me. Sorry for hurting you. It was never my intention within a relationship. My 24 female husband, 29 male, left me about 4 months ago. We had only been married a month and a half. I was wondering how old she was when they got married. It's still too young. Don't get married till you're 25. We both contributed to the end of the marriage, but to make a long story short, my biggest concern included him not being around the house. I bought literally everything in the house down to the toilet paper and all of the furniture. Spending a lot of time away from home with his friends, riding dirt bikes and claiming he's the man of the house and knows more about life than me because he's a few years older. There's a lot more behind each of those, but that's what the bird's eye view. After separation, he played games and was a no-show 3 times when we were trying to swap remaining personal items. I had to get a sheriff's deputy to go with me to pick up my stuff, and he won't accept my responsibility for our separation. Any responsibility. I've been no contact with him for 2 months, almost 2 months. But he's sent me a ton of messages since we separated 4 months ago. That seemed like he's trying to get me to argue with him or get into a long conversation. He texted me the attached text today. I'm too tired to fight with him. I want to throw it in his face that I'm the one who fought for us to work out our issues, to go to therapy, to sit down and talk while he walked away from it a month and 1.5 months after getting married. But I know it isn't helpful and won't change the circumstances or help either of us heal. AIO for thinking he's being manipulative and narcissistic and texting me the things he's saying. How do I respond? Or just remain no contact? Don't even answer this, girl. Don't even answer this. It's not worth your time. Month and a half, get an annulment at that point. Holy Macaroli says he left you after a month and a half of marriage. You don't owe him any text back. Keep on your own path. It seems like he might want to weasel back in a bit, or he wants something else. CZ Money says the best response is no response. And they are not wrong. All right, next we have Best of Redditor updates. Me, 26 female, with husband, 26 male of 4 years. He sold his truck because of our baby and it hasn't been the same since. When you have kids, kind of gotta go roll with the punches there. Original post was March 2nd, 2016. My husband and I have been together for 4 years and married for 2 of those years. We always planned on having children, but 7 months ago we found out it was happening a lot sooner than we imagined. They don't say how old they are. Oh, no, they do. 26 female and 26 male. So, yeah, they have a couple years more they could have waited. He bought the truck right before we met. He loved it. I guess you could say he was even slightly obsessed with it. I knew this before we started dating, and it didn't change in the 4 years we have been together. He spent a lot of money on it and continued to spend a lot of money on it. Everything he did in his spare time had to do with his truck. All his friends are truck guys like him, and he's even been this cute little truck club. Since we've been together, I don't think we've taken my car anywhere. We've actually we have been together actually. You can get trucks that can hold kids, right? You know that. And I mean, this truck is 6 years old. Get a new truck. He doesn't make rent money, but he likes his job and still paid his portion of everything, so I never had a problem with him spending a little bit extra on his truck. We found out I was pregnant, and we were both scared, shocked, and excited. Or you can take the car. You can take the car when you have the kid. It's fine. A few months ago, he brought up that he doesn't know if he'll be able to afford the truck and the baby. Your truck's not paid off. It's been 4 years. It should almost be paid off. I didn't even know if it would be practical with how big and loud the truck is. We didn't talk about it for a while, and then a few weeks ago, he told me as much as he didn't want to, he was going to try and sell the truck because the baby was getting so close. He said he couldn't afford the payments and upkeep and maintenance on the truck if we were raising a child. He was in good spirit. Is he was in good spirits about it and found potential buyers very quickly. He sold it a couple of days later for what he wanted and bought a car the next day. Sounds fine. It's been 3 weeks since he sold his truck and he has changed completely. We are always laughing and having fun together, and I don't think I've seen him smile since. 3 weeks. Maybe he needs to go to a counselor for mourning. He's mourning his truck. I've done everything I can think of to make him feel better and get his mind off it, and nothing has worked. He just comes home from work and watches TV until bed. He's mopey and just drains the energy out of the room, as mean as that sounds. I asked him why he hasn't been hanging out with his friends anymore, and he told me it's because he sold his truck. He said everything they did was related to that somehow, and it wouldn't be the same. Last night he told me he feels resentment and bitterness towards me, even though it was 100% his decision to sell the truck, and he doesn't know why he feels that way. You need to talk to somebody, a professional, that can talk you through this. What can I do to help him get past all this? Is he depressed? I just don't know what to do. I know it was just a truck, but it had a lot more impact on him than I thought it would. Panic Bread says, sounds like it was a huge mistake to sell the truck. People don't have to give up who they are just because they have children. Maybe he would have had the money to keep it in tip-top shape, but who cares? Encourage him to take some money from the sale and buy a less expensive truck. OOP says, yeah, I know he regrets it, but he had $800 monthly. Oh my God. What was this truck? $800 monthly payment for a car is excessive. I asked him why he didn't get an older, less expensive truck, and he said he'd rather just have a car than downgrade from his dream truck. I'm hoping he has a change of heart and decides to sell or trade the car for a more affordable truck. Crazy Mike says it sounds like he not only gave up his truck, but also his social circle. Being cut off from your friends feels incredibly lonely. Maybe reach out to his truck buddies for some ideas on how to re-engage them into their circle. Maybe they can find a project truck that can all work together. That sounds cute. That sounds really cute. If he's close to them, then surely even they don't want him to just disappear. OOP, I've reached out to him to come hang out, such but he said he would feel weird and kind of uncomfortable doing the kind of stuff they did before and not having his own truck. What kind of truck did he have? He had a Ram 3500 Cummins. I hope he comes around and becomes okay with getting smaller, maybe inferior truck. Quick editor's note, a quick Google search for a 2012 model, brand new, went for as high as $60,000 in 2012, and financing would definitely top 70 grand. $60,000. $30,000 for a car. 30,000 was bad. He could also maybe he could lease one. Well, OP's final comment on the original post. Thanks for all the feedback and advice. We have a doctor's appointment today, and I'm going to try and talk to it after. Update March 24th, 2016, 3 weeks later. I want to post an update because it's nice reading positive outcomes on here. I got a lot of responses, and it really helped me understand what he was going through. We were finally able to have a good talk about it. He told me a lot of what you said. The truck was his identity and part of who he was. Do not make a vehicle your entire identity. Don't make anything your entire identity. That's silly. I told him I knew that he didn't want that car he bought, and he told me I was right. We talked more and eventually figured out something that would work. He sold the car, and we agreed he could just use mine. Our schedule works out to where he could take me to work, pick me up on time. It wasn't a big hassle, and I was going on maternity leave soon anyway. He found a total truck for sale and an engine that's still in good condition. It was the engine he wanted. He bought the truck for what was supposed to be a really good deal, and him and a couple of friends ripped everything out of it that he needed and got rid of the body. The engine is in our garage now. It took him a couple of weeks, but he found a truck to put the engine into, and him and a friend are going to pick it up this weekend. He's back to his old self, and baby is going to be here soon and couldn't be more excited. Well, that's nice. That turned out really nice. He was able to salvage a truck. That's awesome. um, low fruit, low Fuji says, quoted, I know he regrets it, but he had an $800 payment on it besides everything else. And they say, yikes, glad he sold it. $800 in 2016 money to boot. I wouldn't call it a car payment that high now. It's almost a decade ago. That's crazy. That was my monthly rent in 2016. Yeah. I think you can find rent for that much now, even. I mean, if it's small. All right. We have defective bread. This is from Made Me Smile. And we have defective bread. My husband just walked in and handed me a grilled cheese missing the top left corner. Every time he makes me toaster sandwich, he presents it to me with one bite taken out. He always says, I don't know what's wrong with the bread you bought. It's defective. I haven't had a full slice of toast or sandwich at home in almost 18 years. If those are infinite worlds, every version of me chooses defective bread in every one of them. Yeah, for sure. Here's the defective bread with the bite taken out of it. Oh, if he goes before her, she's going to miss that defective bread, I'm telling you. That is so sweet. I love it. That's so nice. Now I'm going to go cry because that made me cry. That made me cry. Oh, agreeable panda says, can we just acknowledge that that bread is absolutely perfectly toasted? It is. Oh, I'm not crying. You're crying. I can actually cook really good cheese, um, Fr- French toast. I can cook French toast too, but uh, grilled cheese. I can really grill a cheese. It's actually really good in the air fryer, but my husband doesn't like it till the bread's too toasty. It's too dry. Prolithostone says, well, you know, your sandwich isn't poisoned, so there's that. You need to make her another sandwich and like take a bite out of each one of them and then give her two sandwiches. Then she'd get at least a whole sandwich out of it. All right, that's all I got. I hope everyone has a good day. Take care, my biddies. I will see you Thursday. Um, I haven't really heard about tomorrow, but I'm assuming I'm having my little babies. They're so sweet. I tell you, the 4-year-old kissed Mrs. Santa. Yeah, because he's a sweetheart. They're adorable. I love them. I didn't tell you that one of them fell off a table. Yeah, my husband can't babysit for beans. Cannot keep a kid safe. He's fine. He's fine. Babies bounce. Thank goodness. All right. I think that's all I have for today. I hope everyone has a good day and a good day tomorrow. Love you all. Bye. Bye.